Hey, what's going on, guys? So in front of me I have again the Asus Q304UA. The model Q304UK is pretty much the same thing as this. So I'm just following up on my other video, and I had a few people ask me how to change the thermal paste on this laptop. Now, I want to start off by saying I am such an idiot because I thought I was recording and I was not recording. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the whole process again, except this time I'm not actually going to apply the thermal paste back on. So for the sake of video, I already removed the screws, and you just pull on this end carefully to remove the case. So we'll put the case aside. And obviously the first thing we want to do is remove the battery connection. So I'll go ahead and pull that out. Now that we have that out, I just want to mention that from my last video, if any of you have seen my previous video showing you guys how to update the hard drive and the memory, I did end up putting an SSD in here and an 8 gig RAM stick in here. Now I have a total of 12 gig. So I'll go ahead and jump right into the CPU, how to change the thermal paste. And then I will just show you guys the RAM stick that I put in here, and I'll show you guys the I'm not actually going to show you guys the hard drive. I'll go ahead and do that as well. So for the thermal paste, we'll go ahead and remove these 4 screws right over here. Let me zoom in as much as I can. Alright, so I'll remove these 4 screws. I'll go ahead and do that right now, and I'll put them aside. Now like I said, I feel like an idiot because I thought I hit the record button and I thought it was recording this whole time, but it was not. A lot of people are also asking me about RAM, just which RAM to buy, will this RAM work? The RAM stick that I installed on here is a DDR3L, so it's a PC3L low voltage, 8 gig, and it works great. I believe you can also put in just a DDR3 instead of DDR3L. I think this laptop will take a low voltage or not. So once you remove these 4 screws, we'll go ahead and jump right here to the side where the fan is. And there are 3 screws here. So there's one over here, and another one over here. You won't really get these screws mixed up. There's only 3 for the fan, but you can still put them aside somewhere so you don't get the other ones mixed up with it. So 2, and then our third one right over here. Alright, so now that we removed those 3 screws for the fan and the 4 screws that hold down the heatsink, removing removing everything should be easy, but we want to remove one other thing actually over here. The fan connection is over here. I was actually struggling when I thought I was recording this the first time. I was struggling to remove it, but it turned out to be pretty simple. So I'm just going to use this plastic plier. I don't know what you call this, but I'm just going to put it on, pull from this side, go to the other side, push it out a little bit, just kind of work. Maybe use my finger or my nail to help, but this will come out this way, so you pull it out this way. So let me do that without dropping the camera. So the connection to the fan is out. Now to remove this, we just pull up, straight up, and there we are. Now, like I said, I'm so sad that I wasn't recording the first time, but I guess now that I'm recording the second time, it makes things, I guess, a little easier and faster. It makes the video shorter. So the first thing you want to do, obviously, you want to take some cotton balls. That's what I did. I took some cotton balls and just alcohol, and I cleaned all that dry thermal paste off the heatsink. And then what I did with the one on the CPU is I just took this cover. Let me put this back. Okay, so I took this cover, peeled it up, and right over the RAM, where the RAM case is. Cleaned it up with alcohol, and as you can see, this is it. This is the thermal paste that I removed. I was using 2 of them. So I removed the old dried up thermal paste. I applied a tiny bit, not too much. You don't want to put so much, because once you apply the heatsink, it's gonna distribute the thermal paste. So apply a little bit on, you might not be able to see it clearly, but there is, so you want to apply some right over here, and then you want to apply some right on top of here. After you do so, go ahead and put this cover back on, because I almost forgot earlier. Make sure that the screw holes are aligned. Just push it down, and putting this back on again is very simple. There is a, if you notice over here, there's like a little, there's 2 holes. One of them is for the screw, where the screw is going, and then the other right next to it is a tiny hole. Will go, make sure it's aligned so that it's the fan sits right on, right, it goes right through it basically. So just like that, the fan is positioned correctly. The heat sink, just adjust it so that the holes align. And then what I'm gonna do first, obviously, is screw down the fan. So where did I put my screwdriver? Okay. Remember, there was 3 screws for the fan. They're all the same size. So I'll go ahead and put a screw here first. I'll take, if I'm not mistaken, maybe one of them is a little bigger, but it doesn't make a difference. Take the second screw, I'll put it here. I'm not going to tighten it too much now. I'm just going to make sure that all my screws are in. And my third one. Alright, so now that they're positioned, they're in. I'll go ahead and put the screws on top to make sure to hold the heat sink. So I'm gonna kind of go in a zigzag, in an X type of, so I'm gonna screw this one in first, then I'll go to this one, then I'll go up to this one, and then go down to this one. And I'm not gonna tighten it too much on the first go. So there's my second one. I know I'm covering, but I'm just screwing down a screw. There's nothing really to see. I'll just do this one next, and then finally I'll do this last one over here. Alright, now that I have all of them in, I'm just gonna go back and make sure they're they're not loose. So I'm just gonna tighten it a little bit, not too much. No, I'm not gonna overdo it. Some thermal paste over here. So just enough. Alright, perfect. And that's pretty much it. We can connect our fan back in here. We just slide it in, and voila. Just like that, it's done. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the RAM now. To remove the RAM or this cover, there's little tabs here that you want to pull up, and just let this sit here. These two tabs, you push them this way, you push them away from the RAM stick. The RAM stick will come up. You pull the RAM stick out. We'll take this little cover out. I'll show you guys the RAM stick that I installed. So this is it, an 8 gig PC3L, and obviously an 8 gig is the most you can put on these laptops for a maximum, because the onboard memory that's installed is 4 gigs. It's actually right here. You can't do anything about that. It comes with 4. I mean, it pre-installed 4, and then you can change up. You can upgrade the RAM to an 8 gig. Now you have 12 gigs. So to put the RAM stick back in is pretty simple. It only goes in one way, and then you push it down, and then it clicks. And I'm gonna put my cover back on here as well. Once the cover is back on, I'll just take this other, and you just push down on this until you hear a click, and it's pretty much good to go. Now finally we have our hard drive. So the hard drive is held down by 3 screws. One screw out here, another screw over here, and then the final screw is kind of hiding behind this cable, but you'll find it right over here. So I'll remove the screws. This screw on the outer area here is the only screw that's different. It's longer, and then these screws are much smaller screws. So as long as you remember that, I don't even think the other screw will fit in here, so you won't. It's just trial and error if you don't remember which screw goes where. So now that I removed those, I'll go ahead and remove the connection that's connected to the motherboard. You can pull this little tab, kind of holding it there. You just pull it out, and then the hard drive is actually already good to go. I'll go ahead and disconnect the hard drive. There's these wires tucked in here. You just work them out, and then we have our hard drive held down by 2 screws on the side, and then if you go to the other side, there's another 2 screws. So I'll go ahead and just open this side so I can show you guys my hard drive, or I upgraded with an SSD. I did sacrifice storage because these laptops do come with 1 terabyte hard drive, and I ended up getting a 240 gigabyte SSD, but it's definitely worth it. The speed is amazing. The boot time is amazing. So you just peel one side to get this cover out. You don't have to peel the other side. And once you do that, this is your hard drive. You can just once you obviously you have to remove the other screws, and then you can just get this hard drive out. And then if you want to replace it, you just make sure it's positioned the same way that you removed this one. So this is the one that I purchased. Let me see if I can. There we go. So I purchased a Kingston 240 gigabyte SSD, and like I said, I did sacrifice on the storage. I could have went with the like a 1 terabyte SSD if I really wanted, but I think 240 gigabytes is enough. I don't have a lot of software or even files installed on this laptop. I have my desktop that I use. So 240 gigabytes is plenty. So we can put our screws back in here. Alright. Make sure they're tight. And after that, what we want to do is I'll go ahead and connect the connector or the connection back on the hard drive. Make sure it's in there, and then we'll take these cables back again and we'll just kind of work them back in here, just so it's nice and neat how it was before. We'll take the black ones next. I mean, it doesn't matter which one you do first, whatever is easier. Okay, that's good to go, and just kind of sit the hard drive back in its place. Align the screws or the holes with the case, and then we'll go ahead and screw everything back in. I'm going to start obviously with this back, the one screw that was back here. Let's go ahead and tighten it all the way, and I'm going to take my little tiny screws and I'll put them back in here. And the final one, I'll just pull this cable out a little bit and put that screw in. Okay, that's good to go. Now that I know everything is back how it's supposed to be, I'll go ahead and connect the connection back on the motherboard. So that's good. Make sure that everything else is connected. You did not mess with any other cables, like for example the black wires that were connected to the wireless, forgot what it's called. Make sure this is connected. Make sure that your fan connection is connected right. The connection to the hard drive is good. This end is good, and after that honestly it's pretty much I don't know what else I could talk about here. Just the battery, if any of you really want to replace the battery, it seems that only 2 screws are holding the battery down. So let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so it looks like this screw, and then you have a screw on the other end here holding the battery down. You unscrew those, and I see some type of tabs or something. I don't know if this is part of the battery, I believe, maybe. But anyways, I believe after these 2 screws you can just, 3 screws, I'm sorry, there's a screw in the center here as well. After these 3 screws are removed, you can just pull the battery out, put your new battery in, and you're good to go. Connect the battery connection back on the motherboard. After everything is connected the way that it was supposed to be, we can take our cover and put it back on, push it down until it clicks. Alright. And then I'm going to turn on my laptop and make sure that it's working. So let me go ahead and turn it on. And I turned it on, I'm just waiting on it. There was somebody else that asked me how to replace the power button and the volume button on the side here. It's a whole piece, I believe, that you would have to replace. There's a few screws. I mean, you'll have to order a replacement and kind of see how it comes, and when you open your laptop, you'll see which screws to remove and how to remove it. But yeah, as you see, my laptop is on and working. I will sign in, and as you can see here, Task Manager, my disk, literally whenever I logged in, my disk would be at 100% for maybe 5 minutes or a little longer. With an SSD, as you can see, it's barely reaching 20%. It seems that the CPU is good as well. I mean, I'm not running any applications or anything, but the CPU is at a 6% now. I will see as time goes if it feels hot, if it overheats or anything like that. But yeah, everything seems great. And of course, you know, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. You can comment below. You can shoot me an email. My email address is on my profile, so you can get my email address from there. You can send me an email if you have any questions or anything that suggestions or anything you'd like to say. I'll always be happy to assist. And of course, comment, subscribe, share the video with anybody that has this laptop or doesn't have this laptop. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Take it easy.